Hello and welcome to the lecture on Stage 4, Writing. In this lecture we will have a look at an overview of the writing stage, a breakdown of the task, a closer description of what it is that you're going to be asked to do, how it is that you'll be assessed in the writing, and finally we'll look at an example as well. This lecture on Stage 4 will be slightly shorter than some of the other overview lectures, as there's only one task. Speaking of which, let's have a look at Task 7. Task 7 is writing an essay. So this is the final stage of the HLA, and it's an assessment of your ability to write. We ask you to complete a single task, which is where you complete a short essay. As you can see, you have 30 minutes for this. That's 30 minutes to read the question, plan your essay, and write it. You will have already shared your screen with the assessor in order to complete Stage 3, the reading tasks. So the assessor will be still looking at your screen, and they will send you another email. This email will contain your essay question. You read the question, plan your essay, and then write it out as a reply to the email. As you can see, there's only one task in this stage. There is a minimum word count for the essay, and it's expected that you produce an extended piece of writing that clearly demonstrates your ability to organize your thoughts into an argument that flows well together. The essay should be clearly punctuated and paragraphed. It should present a single argument weighing up both sides. So here, we're looking for you to present an argument. That might be to say whether you agree or disagree with something, to suggest a solution, to suggest a course of action, or to highlight the positives or negatives of an idea. We'll be asking you to include supporting information, and we'll also be looking for clear organization and good paragraphs. Generally speaking, we suggest that you write 4 paragraphs. Now let's look at how this is assessed. As with all other parts of the HLA, we're assessing from B2 up to C1. Specifically, we're assessing your ability to write an essay which can develop an argument. We're looking for reasons in support or against of a particular point of view. We're looking for you to explain the advantages or disadvantages of various options. To produce clearly intelligible, continuous writing which follows standard layout and paragraphing conventions. So at B2, we're expecting a well-written, logical essay. It follows a logical path, and it's clearly well organized. The better the organization, the higher grade you're likely to get. For a very high grade within the HLA, we're looking at the complexity of the essay that you produce. Now here, we're not asking for it to be needlessly complex, but complex in the way that it uses language. Can you balance different ideas within single sentences and still clearly communicate your ideas? Can you tie everything together and make it absolutely clear to the reader what your ideas are and what your argument is? Are you using interesting vocabulary and more advanced grammar skills? Now again, as with the other stages, To have a better idea of exactly what it is that you're supposed to do, it's probably best to see an example. We're not going to look at an example answer here. We're going to look at an example question. Later on, in the course, we will show you some example answers. But for now, let's look at the question. So in task 7, you'll be emailed an essay question. As you can see, the essay question says, write an essay on the topic below. Your essay should be at least 300 words. You should write about both sides of the argument and support your ideas. You have 30 minutes, and you should write your essay as a reply to the email. Let's look at the topic. In this example, the topic is transport is a leading cause of climate change and pollution. It is necessary that cycling is adopted as the main use of transport in cities. Decide how strongly you agree or disagree and write an essay that discusses why. Notice the question here begins to give you some structure to the essay that you might write. Let's look at that in more detail. First, we have a position. Transport is a leading cause of climate change and pollution. This is a statement sentence. The use of the verb to be here is declaring this as fact. However, the point is here, you are supposed to agree or disagree. Our first statement here says, decide how strongly you agree or disagree. That's where your starting point for the essay will be. Do you agree with this statement? Okay. Then, why do you agree with it? The first few ideas that you have, you might put on one side of your piece of paper for your plan. The other ideas that disagree might go onto the other side. You might choose which ones are best. Think about how to summarize those into a single idea. Then, that's the first 2 sentences of your introduction. The introduction of the essay should paraphrase the question, talking about transport, climate change, pollution, and cycling. Then, stating whether you agree or disagree. Then, explaining that you will argue one side or the other throughout the essay. Your first body paragraph will then likely side with the side that you're disagreeing with. You have another body paragraph, example that you agree with, and then you'll end with a conclusion. Okay, so this was an example task for task 7, the essay. Remember, you have 30 minutes to do this task, and you need to be writing at least 300 words. So in this lecture, we've looked at an overview of how Stage 4 works. We've seen a breakdown of exactly what it is that you're supposed to do. We've taken a closer look at a description of what the task entails. We've seen how you'll be assessed when writing this essay, and finally we looked at an example. Don't worry if you don't know how to answer this type of question. We'll be showing you more information on how to tackle these questions later on in the course. Thank you.